What up? What up? What up, world? We are back. Week 6 is done, and we're heading into week 7. I'm Anthony, aka Rasta. This is Get Right Fantasy Network, and I'm here with the familiar face in the house. What's up, Frank? How you doing?
What's up? What's up, man? Doing good. What a weekend. Monday night ending in overtime. Nice.
Yeah, not a bad game. So we had a 19-16 game?
Yeah.
Is that what it ended up? Pretty I mean, we need some more touchdowns on these on these primetime games, but it was a little better than last week, and what a way to end it. What's your kind of takeaways here from this Denver LA game?
Well, I noticed Melvin Gordon was sitting on the bench, and I know he was, kind of semi-injured or whatnot, but I mean, I was hoping that he would play. And you got Latavius Murray just running all over the place for tonight. So that's the one takeaway I got there. I was just, other than that, I mean, it was a decent game. I don't think that anybody fucking did nothing too crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was that was definitely some interesting situations developing with Gordon sitting out. I think he only had 3 carries for 8 yards. It was a Latavius Murray show. He had, I believe, 17 carries for about 68 yards or something like that. I think I was kind of just looking that all over the final stats. But yeah, so I mean, it wasn't a great game. Like Dim Boy said, "What's up, Dim Boys?" Saying he can't stick around, but Herbert's a bum. So Herbert only putting up about 9 or 10 fantasy points, depending on what type of league you're playing in. 57 attempts, which is crazy. Only completed 37 passes, 238 yards with a pick, no touchdowns. Was sacked twice. So not a great game for Herbert. But you Austin Eckler fans who stuck it out,
Getting paid now.
it's looking good, man. I mean, 14 carries, 36 yards, and a touchdown on the ground. That's nothing to write home with. But in those PPR leagues, my man's going for 10 catches on 16 targets. I mean, this offense is dying to get Keenan Allen back. So go get him in your leagues if you can. 47 yards in the air. But again,
Speaking of which, though, but they don't
his
throw
10
enough for Mike
receptions.
Williams. They only threw him like twice or 3 times. Dude, he almost had an incredible sideline catch. And even the announcers were like, "How come they're not throwing the ball more to this guy?"
Yeah,
And
it
I
was
know hopefully it evens out when Keenan Allen comes back. But I was just like, they need to get to him. I mean, I have Mike Williams, so I need that.
right. I mean, I think there's a couple three words for that. Pat Surtain Jr. Right. I mean, this defense is this is what they do. They take out the number one guy. So he was going to Judy. He was going, um, or I apologize, on the other side. He's going to
On
Eckler,
the other
checking
side,
down
yeah.
because they have that defense just set up over there. So pass rush was getting to him. They are down a lineman, so it's it is what it is. So again, for the
Yeah.
Austin Eckler fans, you're loving it. But for everybody else, it was kind of a bad game.
That shoved sandwich into that touchdown too. That big guy was just pushing him through.
Yeah, it was pretty
Because I
crazy.
mean, he was doing his part to get in there, but once the big guy got behind him, it would just smush in there. You're like, you're getting in there, no worries.
Exactly. So, not bad to see. Josh Palmer was looking good on 12 targets, 9 catches for only 57 yards. Again, the yardage wasn't quite there. But again, when you're throwing 57 times, people are going to get some targets. So, we had a little Greg Dulcich sighting. He catches the 39-yard touchdown from Russ. Russ still not really kind of getting stuff going. He started off kind of hot, but kind of faded later. But like you said, Latavius Murray, 15 carries, 66 yards, no touchdowns, but getting those 15 carries over the 3 for Gordon and only 1 for Boone. They were saying he was, questionable coming in with neck and rib issues, so I don't know if it had anything to do with that. I would assume they wouldn't even give him those 3 carries if he was more like an emergency back situation. So that maybe they just felt he
Yeah, he was
wasn't
shaking his
getting
head on the
things done.
sidelines. He was not happy about it, and I think they just benched him precautionary, or who knows? Maybe they
Yeah.
didn't see what maybe they didn't like what they seen.
Right. So definitely something to, take a look at. Again, this is the Overreaction and Waiver Wire show. Um, you know,
Go get you some Latavius Murray right now.
Murray, yeah, he's 18% owned on Sleeper, 14% owned on Yahoo. So definitely someone, you might want to grab. Also Mike Boone. I don't know if I put him on here or
Yeah,
not.
Mike Boone was last
But
week, and he didn't do enough. I think let's move on from Mike Boone, Latavius Murray.
it's Murray time. So
Yeah.
there it is. So who else we got here in the who else we got in here? Martin saying what's
Oh,
up.
all right,
I
there,
say
boys.
no at Dumb Boys Why. So he's not hanging out here with us. We got stranded on second with Tony Clark. What's up, Tony?
What up?
In the house saying what's up, saying hey. We got Fantasy Fish in here saying I was forced into starting Gordon and it was not good. So yeah,
Yeah,
man, it was
same here.
tough situation. Caught a lot of people there. Drunk Squidward saying, "Man, I hate Russ. He made me lose to the last, made me lose on the last minute field goal, and he only lost by 2 points. So brutal loss. Let us know your wins. Let us know your losses, man. Let us know if you had somebody in your league like lose less than 1 point. I always love hearing about those. Those are always interesting.
Oh,
Oh,
sorry.
go ahead.
Pete Carroll was on to something.
Yep.
What about
It's all,
Russ? That's
we all
funny.
hate the Russ hate is coming. Oh, what's up, Dustin? Getting back from the trip. Hopefully we'll get you on the stream maybe Wednesday. But yeah, what's up, man? And it's all kind of looking like that now, man.
Yeah, right.
It's crazy. I mean, we're starting Geno Smith over Russ now for sure. So, it is what it is, man. What else can you do with them, Squidward? Nobody will buy them at a good price. So pretty much, that's where it is. I mean, you're hoping you can maybe throw them in a package for someone, maybe get somebody else, but you're definitely selling them low at this point. I think all you can do is just hold on to them and see what happens. We have a question here from Drunk Squidward. You guys think I should hold on to DJ Moore since everyone is getting traded? Either he gets more looks or gets traded himself. What are your thoughts? So that's a perfect way to kind of segue into the show. So kind of started off this morning. The big news: Robbie Anderson getting traded off to the Arizona Cardinals. Obviously, that comes on the heels of Marquise Hollywood Brown, who left yesterday, probably the most severe injury we had over this weekend.
Yeah,
Left in a walking boot. They said originally the x rays were negative. He was going to go for further evaluation. After the evaluation today, they're saying it's a pretty severe foot injury and potentially season ending. So I haven't heard too much, too much more than that right now. Um, I see you put some notes on here saying that
yeah.
you saw
That
something about a small fracture and he could
yeah.
be
That's
out
the
for
out
6
for
weeks is kind of
6 weeks.
what they're saying.
That's the latest news that they came out with.
All right. So yeah, I didn't even see that come through myself. So again, I think it's just, who knows? Obviously he's going to be out for a while. At least this, coordinates with D Hop returning this week, coming off that 6 game suspension that he served. So he is queued up to play on Thursday,
Right?
along with Robbie Anderson and Rondell Moore. So hopefully he can pick up some slack there as well.
Yeah.
This offense, was already kind of
I put
a little
Rondell Moore
suspect at
there because
first.
he's at what? He's at 46 on Yahoo, 44 on ESPN, just below that 50% threshold there. And he's been having some pretty decent games regardless of, and I think it just kind of works out all right if Marquise Brown is down. Now it's D Hop, and then he'll be just. I think he'll be the wide receiver too. I know that that'd be the role for Droppy Anderson, but I mean we know who he is.
Right. So getting back to Squidward's question here, what are your thoughts on DJ Moore? I'll answer it just quickly and let you put your thoughts together. I'm in a hold situation with him. I don't think you could just flat out drop him unless you absolutely need to open up a roster spot. Otherwise, I think you just hold him and kind of see what happens, see where he might go, or even if he stays, hopefully they can just at least work him in. He's obviously not going to be a wide receiver 2, wide receiver 1. He's going to be someone that maybe you can, just spot start during, in a flex spot during bye weeks, and in case of severe injury. But otherwise, you know, he's firmly on your bench to me at this point. So go ahead, Frank. How you feel about him?
I agree. I mean, what you didn't draft him as such, and you had last 3 years he's been doing pretty good. So I mean, like it just happens to be whatever's going on that offense. I mean, I'm happy that CMC's finally getting his stuff right, but it's at the cost of DJ Moore or anybody else on the team for that matter. I mean, I mean the coaching's gone. They're like he's saying it's going to be a fire sale. Everybody's going to be traded away or whatever could happen to try to fix this team. But I mean, like Anthony said, you're not going to be able to trade them away. Maybe late package or something. I don't know what you could do with them, but like as a handcuff to another package to try to just supplement the guy off your team. But I mean, he's just going to be riding the pine, and I'm not sure how much long that would last, depending on your team structure. That you may have to make a move.
Yeah. So maybe he's a throw-in piece, something you can, throw into a trade as
Yeah.
like a whole full kind of lotto ticket, type thing. But just based on his pure talent, I mean, you got to kind of hold on to him. And again, maybe like Squidward says, maybe he gets traded to somewhere where they could use him. Because if not, that, like you said, that talent is a terrible thing to see go to waste. So we agree with you there. I think you're just kind of stuck. I have a couple shares of them and I just feel kind of stuck. So luckily, I drafted wide receiver heavy, so I have plenty of guys I could throw in there. Not plenty, but I got a couple other guys I can throw in there and feel at least a little better or not have such high
He's on that plenty.
expectations. On.
I got some guys.
It is. So we're saying, what's up, AJ? He's saying, what's up? Got the fantasy Frontline in the house. And again, perfect. Set it up perfectly. Make sure you get in the description. Check out our Get Right Fantasy Network affiliates. We have the Fantasy Frontline here with AJ and Tim. We also have the Checkdown podcast, who was live earlier doing the Monday Night Football watch party. So hopefully you got to check them out. Streaming here on Get Right Fantasy Network. Give them a subscribe. Perfect. See, you're on it. And then hit us with the Fantasy Frontline as well with Tim and AJ. Oh, the other way. There you go. And then last but not least, we got our boy over at WAGMI Fantasy, Colin. WAGMIFantasy.com. Sign up for the Winning with WAGMI newsletter. He'll break it out to you every week. You'll get the start sits. You're going to get the, waivers, trade, buy, sell targets, great articles that he'll put right in your email. So make sure you sign up. It's free. Go check it out. All right. So, what's that?
You gonna finish the read?
We'll go through that other stuff. We'll spread it out throughout the show. We got Tony Clark saying he said he won in a narrow victory, 99.7 to 99.5. So that's a narrow one right there.
Nice.
By the skin of your teeth. So I like to see that. And we have John Squidward in here saying I also have Marquise Brown, so I might have to make a desperate trade for a wide receiver soon, like a Christian Kirk or Sutton. So make sure you come back to us on Wednesday when we do our buy-sell trade.
Kirk.
I got to tease him. We'll get in there on Wednesday. We'll let you know. But for now, you might have to pull something off, obviously. So we'll help you put it together. Let us know. And again, anybody that's out there, hit that description. Join our Get Right Fantasy Sleeper channel. It's a private channel where you can, upload photos of your roster. All of us here that are part of the community will comment on it, help you out. Kind of just 24/7 direct access to the community. Without all the trolls and other stuff that you might get elsewhere. We all want to help you out. We'll give you that feedback. Sometimes tell you things you might not want to hear, but for your own good to help you get your lineup right. So. Check
it may not be this year, but it'll be next year.
Exactly. So, and again, shout out to Martin in here, holding it down over at the Dynasty Pylon. Shout out to the Guillotine Dynasty Pylon Guillotine League. He's our IDP expert, Dynasty expert over there. So it's a lot of fun we have going in that league. I made it another week. The Rasta Reapers are going strong. Yep. We had another one fall this week, and it wasn't me, so I'm happy. So we'll go one more week at it. So Guillotine League, my first year, was a lot of fun. All right, so let's move on here, man. So again, we talked about the Hollywood Brown injury, D-Hop returning, the Robbie Anderson trade. Another big injury news that came out today is the fractured finger for Carson Wentz. Looks like he's going to be out 4 to 6 weeks, at least 4 weeks. Recovery in regards to this. They're trying to decide if they want to put him on the IR or not, which would guarantee him to be gone in for at least 4 games that he would miss. So they are discussing all that. So in the meantime, it looks like it's going to be Tyler Heineke back at the helm. Looks like he's going to get a couple starts for you. Now, is he, have that potential? He did score, I think, last year when he did start. He put up some decent games. I think he had at least 6 games over 20 points. The rest of the games were kind of in between 10 and 18 points and 6-point per passing touchdown games. I think he's more of a pickup in super flex leagues, just to at least have that quarterback off the wire. especially with bye weeks and things like that coming up, or if you're dealing with some other quarterback injuries or bad play, maybe you can throw him in there. He does have that rapport with Scary Terry. So maybe that's a little resurrection for him. So Tyler
Yeah,
Heineke
might actually work out for Scary Terry.
might actually work out. So Heineke's 23% owned in Sleeper and 0% owned in Yahoo. So he's definitely available. I mean, I'm not spending fab or a claim on him in one QB leagues at this point, unless he, kind of puts up that QB4, type offense like Carson Wentz was doing. Because right when he got comfortable starting Wentz, he goes out and does something like that. So,
But
so yeah, so
that's so Wentz of him.
it really is. So other news we got here. J.K. Dobbins dealing with his knee, tightened up yesterday. So it was kind of they're not really saying anything. Was it swelling in the knee? Did he re-aggravate it? Were they just not feeling that turf there? I know John Harbaugh has a big issue with the turf there. Either way, we saw Drake come in and get the carry. So, I mean, what did you think about Drake? I mean, is he someone you're looking to maybe get off the wire if Dobbins isn't all the way healthy?
I mean, obviously he played. He got the TD, I think. And yeah, I mean, if Dobbins doesn't play again, I mean, that guy is widely available. He's only like 4% in Yahoo, 3% in ESPN. So I remember we mentioned him when he first got signed over there, and we're like, ooh, maybe grab him, but then nothing happened. You know what I mean? Nothing happened with him, and then this time came. So you never know. It might be this is maybe he had to spend a couple weeks with the team to be get that trust and learn the playbook, and now the situation came up where opportunity knocked on his door, right, and he took it. So I
Yeah.
think it's just with the shot. I mean, if you need to, if he got some room, why not?
Yep. And yeah, I had him here as one of my winners. I mean, 10 carries, 119 yards, did have the touchdown. So he had a really good game last week. On limited carries, it was pretty efficient, but he looked good. He looked like he had some burst. Definitely looks like kind of the best running back on that team right now,
Yeah,
obviously, besides Lamar Jackson, who didn't have the greatest game either. It was kind of a weird
yeah.
off game for Lamar. But yeah, so again, if you're hurting at running back this week, again, we have 6 teams on bye, so you're missing, or we have Buffalo on bye, the Los Angeles Rams, Minnesota Vikings, and the Philadelphia Eagles. So as far as running backs you're looking to replace this week are Dalvin Cook, Miles Sanders, Devin Singletary, and Hendo. So, you know, might might be someone you have to throw in there if they say, Dobbins misses time. I wouldn't go crazy with any fab or, waste like a first round number one waiver claim or anything like that. But definitely if he does clear waivers, might be somebody you could pick up. Along those notes, Gus Edwards sounds like he might be coming back this week and has a chance to play on Sunday. He's only 23% rostered in Sleeper and 15% rostered in Yahoo. So he's somebody else you could look at again if they end up being a little more cautious with Dobbins and maybe sit him a week or two. So we'll see, how that plays out. So who else do you got here that you're looking to pick up this week as far as one of your top waiver ads?
Well, I just thought one of the guys I wanted to talk about. I wouldn't call him a top waiver ad. I don't think I wasn't ready for that, but I did want to mention the good game that Allen Robinson had. He finally showed up. He gets a touchdown. Looked good. He looked like the guy that we wanted to see early in the beginning of the season and throughout the season. He finally got it done one time. And I don't know, I'm sure how many people still holding him or have already dropped him a couple weeks back, because he was underperforming. But
I've
he
dropped him
finally,
twice already
yeah,
and
there you
picked him
go.
back up both times. I keep panicking. I drop him and then I look at everybody else that's out there and I go, yeah, I can't just leave
I
him
don't
there. So
know.
I
I don't
panic,
know.
pick him back
Yeah.
up. And I wish I would have started him over Gallup this week. I like my Alex Pierce start, but I should have
Yeah.
started him over Gallup this week. But how could you after what, we had seen from him? But yeah, good call. Definitely, someone to at least highlight. I don't know if it's like, oh, coming out
Yeah,
party
yeah.
or anything
But
like
since
that.
you
But it
did
was
mention
nice
Alec
to
Pierce,
see.
that's one guy I did have. Alex Pierce with Indy, 3 of 7, 45 yards and a touchdown, and he's been getting some steady work over there. So definitely a guy to be taking a look at since you mentioned him and brought him up. Yeah, nice start with them though. I don't know how many people were still starting Allen Robinson. I'm telling you, I think like you're saying, like I'm going to drop them, or he's definitely was on the bench for the
Yeah.
majority of people. But he finally had his game. Let's see if he continue it. That's definitely something to see if he could get it going next week. If he does, then he's going to start being viable and be a starter again. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it'd be nice to see. I know a couple of my fantasy teams would like it if he was relevant again. 5 catches on 6 targets, which was good to see for him at least. 63 yards and did get the touchdown. So yeah, and then like you're saying in the Indianapolis game, another winner we had. Alec Pierce again, only 3 catches, but did have 7 targets, and he was looking to him at opportune times, which was nice. It seems like Ryan's building some trust in him. But ultimately, this offense goes through Michael Pittman Jr., baby. 13 catches on 16 targets for 134 yards. Doesn't find the end zone because that touchdown did go to Pierce. But you'd like to see him get in the end zone. But I mean, come on, 26.4 fantasy points in a PPR league without scoring a touchdown. That's a nice week. So a good bounce back week for him. If you were able to buy him low last week, I'm sure you're feeling really good about yourself this week.
This
So
week, right?
well done. Who else do you want to highlight? Kind of like a winners and losers, I guess, if you will. Who else do you want to highlight after their performance last week? Someone that was kind of maybe, not
uh,
not as well known type guys, but who do we
well,
want to give a
we
little
were
spotlight to?
boasting his mouth. Him as a pickup. We already talked about you already having him, but Ken Walker. You know what I mean? Come on, that's just kind of like a
Good
coming
call.
out party for this guy. You know what I mean? What did he get?
Good call.
21 attempts, 97 yards, and a touchdown. He got receiving 2 targets, 2 catches, 3 targets, 13 yards on that. So, I mean, the dude's just jumping into this role, and if
Workhorse
any,
back.
yeah, for sure, dude. Um, he's gonna, if he continues what he's doing, he's gonna definitely be a league winner for you if you got him. Like Anthony sold him up early. I have him one of my leagues, so I'm like, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
get that guy.
Absolutely. And same thing like Solo Cup saying, same thing with Brian Robinson, baby. So again, he did play on Thursday. It seemed like a million years ago. He is 96% owned on Sleeper, so guys on Sleeper ain't sleeping on him. But
Yeah,
in Yahoo, he's only
that's why
65%
they
owned in
call it
Yahoo.
sleeper over there. They're
I
not be
guess
sleeping
so.
on nothing.
No sleeping over there on Sleeper, but our guys in Yahoo only 65% owned. So if you can go grab Brian Robinson Jr., go ahead. It's not very promising, especially now with Wentz being gone. Who knows, how that may go. But for the most part,
Who knows?
if
It
he
might be a
is
good
out
thing for
there,
everybody. I'm telling you.
yeah, it could potentially work out. Remember, Heineke's kind of spicy, man. That dude plays raw. He plays rough, man. I mean, he has nothing to lose when he comes in. He kind of is a gunslinger. So, we'll see what happens. And, again, I just like, Brian Robinson's story. Even though I was the biggest Gibson fan, as you guys know, but, that team needed a spark. So, hopefully he can get it done. So he had 17 carries, like you're saying, only 67 yards or 60 yards. Did get the touchdown, which kind of saved it if anybody was crazy enough to start him like I was with Derrick Henry on a bye week. So it worked out. But you'd want to continue to see that role grow for him. So one other guy I want to spotlight as one of the winners this week. We had Brandon Ayuk. He had 8 catches on 11 targets from Jimmy G. Turned that into 83 yards and 2 touchdowns. So not a bad week for him as well. If anybody, had him started, I know he was kind of coming off a couple rough games, but definitely had a great outing. And then Juju Smith-Schuster gets the big long touchdown, 5 catches on 5 targets, 113 yards. Finally gets his first touchdown of the season. So he was definitely one of my winners this week as well. So let's talk about and then
I
of
did like the
course,
Juju thing because I have Juju and I was like waiting for this, waiting for this. Now it's finally, like you tell, it's he's gonna be able to take some nice piece of that role in that offense. You know what I'm saying?
hopefully, I mean that thing definitely still goes through Kelsey, who had over 100 yards, but definitely an opportunity for one of these guys to emerge, and it's definitely not
Yeah.
MVS. So hopefully Juju
No.
can step up in that role. Of course, you had the big guys, Chase, Diggs, both Miami receivers who kind of went off. These guys are, I mean, every week you're starting them. Looks like the Miami wide receivers, Tyreek and Waddle, are going to end up getting Tua back this week. So yeah, I think both of them, had like over 130 yards. Tyreek Hill had like 177. It was so outrageous. I didn't even put the stats on here. And then of course Jamar Chase had a big game. I think 134 yards, 2 touchdowns there. So that was good to see him have a good game, which we talked about on Friday. I kind of said he should have a good game with Marshawn Lattimore and everybody else on that Saints defense and offense kind of gone. So it was just nice to see him actually produce in a spot he should have smashed in. So that's what elite players should do. So
You
yeah.
see what Heather posted up here? Sorry to change the subject.
Oh
But
no, yeah, let's go.
Heather Stacy, I think she's new. I never remember seeing
How's
Heather
it
here.
going, Heather? Yeah, hopefully,
Yeah.
if you guys are watching, hit that subscribe button for us if you haven't already. If you're already subscribed, hit that like button. Helps us just as much. Definitely drop any questions you guys have here. Any type of waiver questions. If you do have trade and other type of questions, we'll probably take them too if we have time. But we are back here on Wednesdays doing our trade episode, and then on Fridays we do our start sit. So,
But she's new. We're going to talk about it right now.
yeah, but absolutely, if you're new, definitely drop your question. We're going to get to it. Hit that subscribe button for us. So go ahead, read it off.
She was offered Olave and Kenneth Walker for Derrick Henry, and she has JT, and just lost Hollywood, so she needs a receiver. What do you think? Olave and Kenneth Walker for Derrick Henry? No. Derrick Henry's
Interesting.
worth more than that. But I mean,
Yeah.
Kenneth Walker.
Interestingly enough, I'd probably trade off JT right now. I might be the crazy one to kind of think about that, but JT hasn't been running that well. Already hasn't really been producing. I mean, I think getting Kenneth Walker's nice, return, and definitely getting Olave once he's healthy looks like he will play on Thursday. No Mike Thomas, he's already been ruled out. Looks like Jarvis Landry's already been ruled out for Thursday. So he should continue to grow. Again, especially since you lost Hollywood, it might be something you can think. But with Henry and JT, I would honestly try to shoot higher. Obviously, maybe someone like Chase or something. Maybe you can go get Devontae Adams, kind of out of sight, out of mind. Was just on a bye week, maybe facing a 1-game suspension. Maybe you can get Devontae Adams and somebody else potentially, for that. But again, if you really feel like you need to go that route, I mean, I don't hate it, but I just think you could get more with Henry and JT. I mean, don't sell yourself short. You're in the negotiating spot there, or at least get another piece. Olave, Walker, and maybe something else. So, yeah.
I think Anthony hit it on the head. If you move anybody, JT would be the one. I think Derrick Henry's getting hit in his stride now, finally. So definitely don't move away from him. But I think you could do better too. I
And
would do that.
remember, JT has a week 14 bye week. You've already missed a couple games with them. So if you can swap
seems
it
like
off,
a 10-team league,
yeah.
right here to me, right?
I
Having
mean, it
Derrick
could have
Henry
been,
and JT.
but I mean,
I want to know.
I mean,
Let us know.
Henry
10-team league.
could have fallen.
Do you
He could have
PPR
fallen,
standard?
or maybe a trade. It happens.
Trade.
Anyway, we got
Probably trade.
Preston in here. Would you trade Josh Reynolds and Brian Robinson for Olave? He already has Derrick Henry, Josh Jacobs, and Brees Hall. Ooh, nice Brees Hall there. Lockett and MVS at receiver right now. 20-man league. Ooh, 20-man league. That's tough.
Oh, he's got.
I mean, I probably
Lockett and
would.
MVS.
If you,
MVS is done.
yeah, so I mean, I think you kind of need to do it. And again, this is like I would prefer this type of package, like for Olave, Heather, compared to like kind of what you're kind of spending to get Olave. Like this is Brian Robinson and Reynolds. Like this is a little better to me. In a 20-man league, that is tough. But I think you need to make that move because it's going to make your starting lineup better. And again, if you go through Henry, Josh Jacobs, and Brees Hall, like you're just, I mean, you can't be 4 or 5 deep at running back and still expect to win if you lose 3 guys in a row. Like at some point, you're just like, that's it. Like you just throw in the towel, or you got to wait for someone to kind of get back, and hope it's not season ending. But I don't
you
hate
need to
this,
make a move.
especially in a 20-man league. So, I mean, again, I would try to maybe shoot higher with Robinson, but I don't hate it. And especially with Jamison Williams coming back, DJ Chark should probably be healthy, and Amon Ra, back healthy again. Swift back healthy again.
Yeah,
I think
all
Reynolds
the Detroit
starts
guys should be
to,
coming back right now.
yeah, I think Reynolds starts to fade a bit. But definitely go grab, a lot. I would do this trade.
solid.
Yeah, I would probably do this, Preston. Not the more I think about it, especially in a 20-man. And if your wide receiver 2 is MVS, you definitely need an Olave there. And again, he had a concussion, which isn't like a lower body injury. So it's not like he's going to rehab or has a chance for re injury. Like he just has to make sure he doesn't hit his head off the turf again, which is easier said than done, I guess. So anyway, sorry, I had to talk myself into that. That's a big deal in a 20-man league. I want to make sure I thought that one through. So again, Preston, if you haven't subscribed to us already, make sure you hit that subscribe button for us. We are trying to hit 600 because when we do,
put that extra thought in there. I was just saying, do it.
yeah, no, I mean, I really had to think that through for you. And again, the reason why we want you guys to hit that subscribe button, man, is because we're trying to get to 600. When we do, we are going to do a drawing for this Gabe Davis jersey. All you need to do is be subscribed to enter into the contest or the giveaway. We'll basically drop a video. You'll leave a comment in that video specifically. So make sure you have those notifications turned on because you don't want to miss out on it. We'll have it open for about a week. And then we'll do the drawing, probably about a week after we drop that video.
If they don't respond,
we'll pull another name.
Moving on. We'll move on.
All right. We'll pull another name. All right. So there we go. So keep the questions coming. Questions, comments. We want to hear it. Drunk Squidward is saying Alec Pierce might be a flex now for me. Again, the thing that worries me, it's 7 targets, only 3 catches, and Matt Ryan threw the ball 57 times. So it's not a great target share. So just kind of be wary of that. If you were to kind of take a third of those away, now you're talking only 1 catch on 3 targets ish, or so, and that's not that great. So again, I think it was a product of the game script. But I definitely like what I see. I don't think he's a weekly flex. But if you need a spot start here and there, then it's, he's definitely a nice piece, to have on the bench right now. Like, again, I started him over Allen Robinson this week just because I wasn't feeling Allen Robinson. So is what it is. All right.
So I want to head over here to the Red Solo Cup.
Go ahead.
He's asking about Mike Gesicki. Anthony didn't even put anybody in for tight end to talk about, but I did like him 6 to 7 this weekend, 69 yards, 2 tutties. Obviously, he's only 24% owned on Yahoo, 41% owned on ESPN. So, obviously it's, boom or bust with them, I think, but I think it looks better with Tua coming back and things happening over there in Miami.
I think it's the opposite. Tua wasn't targeting Gesicki in this offense. No. He was getting the ball to Hill and Waddle.
Well, he was.
That's who he's concentrating that's targets true. To. It wasn't until, the rookie came in, the 3rd round pick, Skylar Thompson, and Teddy Bridgewater came in to, actually, target the tight end. Otherwise, Tua was trying to go long, prove the doubters wrong. Especially coming back from this, concussion. I think he's trying to get the ball into Tyreek and Waddle's hands.
He's going to be checking down. We'll see about that. He's going to be scared to be like, no.
Like, why would you throw it to somebody that has whatever speed Gesicki has when you could throw it to one of 2 guys
I get you.
That run a sub 4.4 or like 4.3 or whatever it is that they run. Like, I'm putting the ball in there.
Because he's going to be scared now. Watch. He's going to hear his footsteps.
Yeah. Even more so why you got to get that ball out quick. So.
But Tunion's still getting a lot of looks over there.
He's
well
a good
in Green Bay. You know what I mean? 10 for 12 this weekend, 90 yards. So no touchdown, but still a decent outing. And he's pretty much available in most of the leagues as well, too. So if that's somebody that you need to pick up and start, hey, if you're looking for tight end, especially with these bye weeks and things that are happening, some guys to look at, So.
Or if you're just in a league that has to start a tight end and you don't have Kelsey or Andrews, he's a guy you could definitely go to. Obviously, it looks like he's getting healthier. You want to see his snap percentage increase. Played the most snaps he has all year at 63% of the snaps. Again, like you said, 10 catches, 90 yards. So you love to see that. 19 points in a PPR. From the tight end position, definitely not bad. He's obviously losing some faith and trust out of some of these young wide receivers, which we expected it would be. So I think as Tunyon starts to get healthier, he's definitely going to be, a target that he goes to. So, yeah. What's up, Patrick? It says, when the F is up with Jeff Wilson, man, he screwed me. Thank God I snuck by with the win, but he nailed me good. I agree. I concur. Same thing happened to me, but I think that early fumble just cost them the game. They didn't really have a chance to really get ahead. Niners were behind all game, so they were kind of throwing it, kind of got him out of the run game. I think he was kind of in that Shanahan doghouse that you hear after that fumble. returned for a touchdown. He wasn't having it. Probably couldn't even stand looking at him at that point. It was an ugly loss. But I think you got to fire him up again next week until Mitchell comes back. Coleman's not that guy, as we saw. So I mean, we just gotta get our stuff together, man. And I think Wilson will be fine again next week. I do understand the hesitation, but I think you still got to kind of trust that offense. We still do rush the ball quite well. We're getting Trent Williams back hopefully next week from that high ankle sprain, so that'll make a big difference in the running game for us. So I think you can throw him out there again. But if he does this again, then we're going to have problems, and he's going to find himself on the bench with Elijah Mitchell coming back soon. So it's great news for Elijah Mitchell owners who were holding him. Obviously, not going to be any running back controversy after this one. So again, I think you keep firing him up with confidence. What do you think?
I like it. I would keep going with them. What else are you gonna do? Like you're saying, you got to wait for Elijah Mitchell to come back, and he's the only guy that's doing anything over there for the 49ers. You just, like you're saying, he got in the doghouse. That's it.
Yeah.
Move on.
Moving on. What's up, Ray? Shout out to Ray out here in our
What's up,
Frank and I's home leagues here. Doing pretty well this year, man. He's number 2 right behind me in both leagues. He and I think, we're the only people in a non-PPR league this week to score over 100 points. It was just he and I in both leagues that did that. So it's kind of a rough week overall with those bye weeks in there. So he's saying, what's up?
Hitting.
Yeah, it's getting rough. I'm getting ready to give up on my Denver players, Sutton and Gordon. I feel a package deal coming up. So how you feeling about Sutton and Gordon right now? We kind of talked about Gordon earlier, but we didn't mention
I
Sutton.
think Gordon could have been, injury related. Obviously, we already knew that he had the head and neck thing going on, and he did get a couple snaps. I just think that they pulled him from the game.
Ribs.
He wasn't happy about it, but I think that you got to hold on to him. Obviously, should be the lead back over there, and I think they're just being cautious with him. So I would still hold on. Now Sutton, on the other hand, I don't know.
I'd be 14.
I'd be ready to move on. Honestly, he hasn't been what we wanted him to be, and mostly because of the quarterback play. Right, Russell Wilson is not who we thought he could be over there. You know what I mean? Like so, like I think Dustin put it on there. Is maybe Pete Carroll was onto something, right?
Right.
So so
better be a year early than a year late, right?
Exactly. So 5 of 11 targets, 74 yards tonight. So I don't know. Oh, that was week 5. I'm sorry.
No, he only went 2 for 14.
Yeah, you wonder. Yeah, I didn't even bring up those stats for tonight. That's crazy. So I would move on for Sutton. But I mean, what are you going to get? What kind of trade value do you have?
I'm not with you there, Ray. I mean, I know in that league we play a standard. It's not PPR, but in a PPR league, I mean, he's still, even with all this terrible play we're talking about, he still scored 11, 19.7, 17.7, 16.2, 12.4, and then finally today's dud at 3.4. So again, in a PPR league, I don't think you're just dropping him or moving off him right now. But it definitely is something to worry about, obviously, with Russ's issue. But I think it just could have been, these Monday and Sunday, Thursday night, like all these primetime games for whatever reason just are always quirky. Just like we saw Indianapolis, last Thursday put up goose eggs all around. People were ready to fire sell Michael Pittman. I literally saw Matt Ryan get dropped in our leagues, in a couple even super flex leagues. Like they were just done with him. And literally he's the QB2 overall this week. And Michael Pittman has 12 catches for 134 and 16 targets. So
yeah.
I'm not just,
my don't ride that. Somebody else's bad advice.
Yeah,
too.
you can't like remember, fantasy football is a roller coaster ride, man. There's ups and downs.
Keep starting your
like
starters,
just ride it out, and then just got to kind of ride those waves, man. Got to know when to hold them and when to fold them, and I don't think this is the time to fold them on Cortland Sutton. But this kind of insight just kind of tells you too, and we'll get into this more on Wednesday. These are the kind of guys you want to buy. Guys that come off bad games. This is why you send offers to people, because you don't know what people are thinking. You and I are like, I'm like, there's no way I'm dropping Sutton, but this guy's ready to just drop him. I could go offer him some bench player.
Ready to move on.
But that's what I'm saying. Like I could get him off you for cheap compared to what my value is. So that's why you always send the offer, guys. Always send it. You never know what you're gonna get. So remember, everyone was fire selling Eckler after week 1 and week 2, and now look
I
at.
just don't think Russell Wilson's going to change who he is overnight.
All right, well we'll see, man. Patrick's in here saying too that he has a huge bye week next week with Josh Allen, Diggs, and Buffalo defense all on buys. Yeah, it's going to be tough, but hopefully you got some bench players that you can throw in there. Again, if you might need need someone, you got Zappy that might be out there again. It's kind of coming off a good game. Maybe Matt Ryan. You might be able to throw in there next week. I haven't really gotten to the matchups or anything like that yet because we're still just wrapping up this week. But there's definitely going to be guys out there that you can look at. So you should be fine. Hopefully you built out that depth on the bench. And this is when fantasy football starts, man, when you get through the bye week. So even if you're like unless you're like 0-6 right now, I think even 1-5, you still have a chance. Like you can make a run just as easily as you went 1-5, you can go 5-1 and be sitting
pretty with the rest of everybody
right
in
at
the middle.
Right in the middle. You know what I mean? And just kind of catch fire at the end, make a couple moves here or there. Somebody else finally gets a rash of injuries, and next thing you know, now you're the up and coming team. So don't give up. Keep making moves. Keep trying to improve your team. And this is what we're gonna help you guys get through here in these next couple weeks. So, but guys like MVS, to me, that is okay to drop. Like I like him in best ball, but to me, I have MVS here as one of my drop candidates this week. If I don't have him as a drop candidate, we're gonna add him on right now. So MVS.
So there's another guy we were talking about last week, and I know he's a drop candidate this week because you put him on there, right?
Which one? I have like a whole list of my drops. So while you get into that, I'm going to get into Heather. She said, yeah, it is a 10-team league. She traded for JT, and thank you for the advice. So, and I told you she could have traded. So it looks like she got
we got it right
first. We're all over it, man. We do too many mocks to not know how these teams are put together this year.
Just get put together right. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. I can tell you.
We were just talking last week, Garrett Wilson, though. You know what I mean? It's just still.
Oh yeah,
he's droppable again.
Just the Jets wide receivers in general, I'm dropping. Except for Corey Davis of all people.
Except for Corey Davis of all people, right? The old dude, he's still plugging along a little bit.
It's Wilson's
but
target,
yeah,
man.
you can move on for Garrett Wilson. People are still saying to hold on to him last week, and I'm like, why? Even the games are getting even harder. You know what I mean? And he hasn't done anything ever since. You know what I mean? Like he had that one good game. We all, seen the bright lights, and like moth led to the flame, and now we're burned. You know what I mean? Like that's exactly what happened. Move on.
Yeah, exactly. Quick question here, and then we'll continue to get into our waivers here. Devin Singletary versus AJ Dillon rest of the season, and Lazard versus Scary Terry rest of the season. Let's start with the running backs first. You like Singletary or Dillon?
I'd like the opportunity that AJ Dillon has, but I just don't think it's been going that well over there at Green Bay. I might have to switch over to Devin Singletary here. I mean, he's not the number one, but I'll take Devin Singletary.
Yeah, so that's the interesting thing, right? It's kind of the tale of two tapes. Dillon came out of the gate with the 20-point PPR game, looked great. We all thought, even Aaron Jones was going to be the leading, target getter. In this offense for whatever reason, he can't even out target Dillon now. And Dillon's been relegated to this weird side role. He's getting the carries, but not really producing. The line's really banged up. They have a kind of good defense, and then Aaron Rodgers still just kind of wants to sling it. Like we never really probably thought that, no, this offense isn't going to not run through Aaron Rodgers, regardless of who his weapons were. I do like just to kind of slingshot that on the other side. So I'm with you. I'm taking Singletary out of the two. And then I'm taking Lazard over Scary Terry right now. Lazard earned his way into my lineup this week, came through with another touchdown. Again, he just trusts him. We've seen him just continue to produce. Again, I'm not saying he's a top 12 wide receiver or anything, but for a weekly flex or a wide receiver 3, even a spot start in a wide receiver 2 spot, I feel comfortable throwing him out there any given Sunday. Again, he still has Aaron Rodgers throwing to them. And if they can get in anywhere near the end zone, he's probably going to find Lazard for a touchdown, if every other game, if not 2 out of 3 games. So I'm happy with that.
He might get that 2 touchdown game and all that kind of stuff too. You know what I mean? Because Rodgers goes hot on some people sometimes, and that happens.
Absolutely.
But I would still take Scary Terry because of that same situation, because he's going to be hit or miss, and I think hopefully Singletary has a bigger role in the offense. I think he's going to have a better shot with Heineke. They've had the rapport, and I know that they've played pretty well in the past together, and that's why I feel more comfortable with Scary Terry if Heineke's at the helm.
All right. Well, there it is. So hopefully that helps you, Solo Cup, and good luck to you. So we're gonna keep getting to Heather here. I like it. Keep the questions coming. She says, was offered Dobbins, Pittman, and ETN for Kittle and JT. Not a big fan of Dobbins, especially with him kind of getting hurt, and we talked about that at the top of the show.
Yeah. Go ahead. And then the Kittle, I don't know. Oh, we lost Anthony's audio. He's working on that right now. There he's back. So he's offered Dobbins, Pittman, Etienne for Kittle, JT. I would possibly do this because Etienne's on fire. He's going to be leading that over there. Pittman's doing well. Dobbins will come back. It's not that serious of an injury. Maybe we look into that. I mean, if you could wait one more day and see what's going on with them, but that's a pretty decent trade, and I would take that. I don't think Kittle's doing all that great, and I don't think you're going to get that much out of him. You could sell high for that guy. And
Yeah,
JT, I mean, you've already seen what he's doing. He's been doing. So I like ATN and Pittman over those two. I would have had that just for that. And now you're throwing Dobbins in there on top of that. That's even better.
Yeah, I mean, in PPR, I like it a little better. Again, I am cautious because of the Dobbins situation. I'd like to know who else he has. But really, I like the trajectory of ETN. I mean, will he get that full, backfield and become like an Austin Eckler? I don't know. I mean, he did get stuffed on the goal line, but it was nice to see him get the goal line touch. Obviously, we know he's just explosive and can break those big runs. Pittman, we're just talking about 16 targets, 12 catches. The offense is going to run through him. And if Dobbins can get back healthy, it could be good. Maybe you can even go pick up, Gus Edwards just to kind of even back up Dobbins potentially. I mean, again, it is two hurt kind of guys you're going after. But, it is kind of tough. But if you're feeling like you need to move and you're not feeling JT and you really need an upgrade at wide receiver, I mean, I don't hate it. But again, I think with JT, I would try to get a better running back to replace him because your roster build was probably built around JT being your main running back. So to me, there's only kind of a handful of guys I would trade off JT for. If not, you kind of want to ride it out, especially with him coming back now, most likely next week. If anything, you should have maybe done it a couple weeks ago, but now you've already lost those games plus a week 14 bye week, so it's kind of tough to, make up those games. So again, if you're looking to switch things up and you don't really care about, star name and star power, and you're just kind of looking for production, I mean, these guys are on the up and up. You are getting the quality over the quantity. But again, Frank, how I always say, usually the person getting the better person, in the deal, is the one coming up. So, I mean, it's definitely risk on both your sides. It just depends on, what type of risk you want to take. But I don't hate it.
Especially with that injury.
I think it's pretty, I mean, I think it's pretty
legit.
Good toss-up.
I like it.
And remember, like JT was only the RB1 last year because Derrick Henry got hurt. Christian McCaffrey was hurt. Like everybody was hurt. And he had the lowest scoring RB1 season of running backs for like in the last 6 or 7 years or something ridiculous like that. He's been the lowest scoring running back RB1 that finished RB1 overall. And again, he started off slow, kind of picked up steam at the end of the year. So is he kind of doing the same thing? We were all kind of ready to write JT off at the beginning of this year, or I'm sorry, at the beginning of last year, and he could turn around and do the same thing and catch fire and just carry you into your championship. So again, you have to be willing to be okay if that ends up, what happens. So
he's just a slow starter.
Yeah. So you never know. It's kind of like Henry. We all know he's going to score a 3-touchdown game somewhere. Just when is it going to happen and where?
Yeah. Which one is it going to be?
Exactly. So let's see who else we got in here. They're just kind of talking about Pierce and Ayuk. They're all kind of just talking by themselves. We have a new person here. We got Cam Cummings in here. How's it going? Hopefully been here. Hit that subscribe button for us. We'll get to your question. Should I look to flip Brian Robinson for wide receiver 2? Right now his wide receiver 2 is DK in a standard league. Yeah, DK kind of coming off a bad week. I thought he'd have a little better week. But if you really dove into the numbers, and I think I mentioned it on our Friday show that Arizona takes out kind of the number one receiver on a team. Like they're pretty good at that. Like very, even Cooper Kupp didn't have that great of a game against them. And just really good quality guys haven't really produced against this Arizona defense for whatever reason. I mean, I guess they're just good at taking out the number one wide receiver. So it was kind of expected there with DK this week. But I still think he's good. I mean, I'm not going to write off everything that they've all done, so far this year. Just again after one game, I'm not going to overreact that much. But I think Brian Robinson flipping him for a wide receiver 2, or like a package to maybe even get a wide receiver 1, maybe Brian Robinson and something else that you could package, maybe like Brian Robinson and DK, put them together and get yourself a nice, wide receiver, in a little higher tier. Maybe you can get yourself, Tyreek Hill, probably not something like that, but a little higher. Maybe a Michael Pittman and somebody else. So I would definitely look to flip Brian Robinson if you can, especially if he was like free and you just picked him up off the waiver wires. Definitely turn him into a wide receiver too. So I'm definitely for that. And we'll get into more of that, again on Wednesday when we do our buy sell trade show. We'll be a little more prepared for your trade questions then. But just off the cusp, I like that. What do you think?
Move him. Get what you need.
Mm-hmm.
And sell high. You know what I mean? You have a good opportunity with that guy. We don't know for sure what is going to happen anyways in the future with him.
Mm-hmm.
And so while he's looking good and everything's feeling good, try to get yourself somebody that's going to be a starter on your team anyways. It doesn't sound like you need him on your team. So
Right.
that's a very important factor, right? If you need a running back.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know who your starters are, but I
I'd be
wouldn't
looking to
start
flip
there.
him.
I'm thinking you're pretty okay on running back, so that's why you're willing to move him.
Yeah, like in our league, our paid home league, I have Henry traded for Eckler, but I had been stashing Walker, Robinson, and I have Devin Singletary. That was my original RB3 in that league. So to me, it's like you put that kind of package together. I mean, I could easily move, Robinson, still have my 3, quality running backs or 4 quality running backs, and could definitely improve my wide receiver. So I'm actually kind of looking to do that same type of move this week. So I'm right there with you, Cam.
So we got Richie
So,
over here coming in with the
yeah,
defense
go ahead.
question. So I have 2 defenses, Cowboys and Eagles. My league mate is offering me Brian Robinson for Eagles. What's it? Justin Tucker defense?
The
Justin
Eagles
Tucker.
T and Justin Tucker.
Okay.
No, I'd keep those 2. I mean, if
My
you want to
running
trade
backs
them the
are Henry,
Cowboys
Pierce,
defense,
Gordon, Madison, Gus, and Edwards. Sorry.
yeah, no, you're good. To me, Richie, I'd rather just trade off the Cowboys defense for Robinson if he wants it. Depending on what kicker he has and depending on kind of what your guys' kicker points are, I mean, I wouldn't hate it. But I mean, you have a really good kind of stable of running backs here, so to speak. I mean, if Gordon does come back healthy, and if Gus Edwards is an okay RB2 that you might be able to flex each week, or just ends up being one of those handcuffs like Madison. But I wouldn't mind adding Robinson in here as an RB3 for you to kind of slot right in there behind Henry and Pierce. And to me, giving up a kicker and a defense is well worth it. I just stream those guys anyway. Again, unless they're really heavy, points in your specific
all you got to
league.
do is replace that kicker. You already got the Cowboys anyways. You're probably getting
Yeah,
about the same scores points anyways.
right. And I mean, so yeah, I'd prefer to keep the Eagles D versus the Cowboys D, but that's just me.
Blah blah
So
blah.
yeah. Full disclosure, my boy over here is a Cowboys fan, so I'm sure he's gonna say ship off that Eagles D.
They barely
You don't
beat
want
us.
to touch
They're
it.
lucky we had a backup quarterback.
Yeah, see, here it comes.
I'm just saying.
Richie's saying his wide receivers are Adams, Waddle, Dobbs, and Jamison Williams on IR, and he has Kelsey. Let's go.
Nice.
I think if anything, I mean, if you're starting 2 wide receivers and a flex, you're probably okay making that trade. But if anything, I'd be looking to add another wide receiver. So maybe you can trade your defense and a kicker for Robinson, and then put Robinson and like Dobbs together and get yourself a nice wide receiver. Maybe like I don't know if you can get like Michael Pittman, but maybe shoot for somebody right under that.
Right.
But yeah, get a nice little wide receiver
It's
too
not
to
the
add
trade show, Anthony. This is Waiver
in
pick
there.
up an overreaction.
It's all good.
Moving on.
I'm overreacting. Hey, these are our new. I got to give
No, I
our
know,
new
I know.
subscribers
He's
some
got to
time
get you
here.
on track.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. So there we are. You can go through there. See, do we got any other questions going on in the chat? I know it's all
I'll check it
popping
out.
off
Well,
on
we had
there.
a trade.
All right. Trade Drake London for Brandon Cooks. I'd rather have London at this point. Actually, give me Brandon Cooks. I know he hasn't been coming off. He's coming off a bye week, kind of out of sight, out of mind.
It is PPR.
And it's PPR. Yeah, give me Brandon Cooks, man. I'm still a Brandon Cooks believer at this point. I think that they're just going to have to throw a little more in that offense. They have a legit running game now, which should open things up a little more for Cooks. You know, Pierce looks real good. They're, again, coming off the bye week, so hopefully they've been able to gel together, you know, and continue to improve. You know, Houston was actually doing some okay things. So, you know, I don't mind that trade. To me, it's not like too risky. Yeah.
Jonathan asking, do we pick up Gesicki over Tunyon for the next week? I know guys don't know anything about the future matchups, but we're looking at the initial thoughts. And both of us, we had him as well. I had him as a waiver wire pickup. Anthony's saying no. He's already going with red solo cut Gesicki until over Tunyon until Tua comes back, because Tua doesn't pass the tight ends, according to Anthony. I think he's going to get
he'll be back.
Tua's
coming back next week.
But Tunyon does have the longer staying power for the long run. So if that's something you're going to pick up, you might as well ride with them so that you don't have to keep worried about what's going on with Gesicki and having to make another move after that.
It's the 12 targets, man. 12 targets, 10 catches. Like before, Tunyon was kind of like before he tore his ACL, was more like a Dawson Knox. It was just all his production kind of came on touchdowns. It was kind of unsustainable. You know, he had that 3 touchdown game, if you guys remember, before tearing his ACL, which kind of put him on the map. But even if you took that, you know, those 3 touchdowns away and just gave him his kind of average for that, he was still like tight end 8. He would have finished, you know, that year, which again, tight end 8 and tight end 43 are separated by like 5 fantasy points per game. So it's not that big of a difference. But to me, give me the guy attached to Aaron Rodgers that doesn't have Tyreek Hill and Waddle competing for targets in that offense.
Johnson's also I'm also kind of curious of what to do with Henry, Kenneth Walker, Najee, Connor, Amon-Ra, Gabe Davis, Keenan, and Michael Thomas. I'm 0-6, mainly due to injuries, Javonte and Dak as well. Dang. So I would say to this question is what Anthony says. Every question that's getting up with the whole crew, get in on our sleeper channel, start a thread, become part of the community. And this kind of question, aside from that, but many others, you could post on your whole team and ask what you should do, roster trades, things like that, management, what are your opportunities there? Kind of like Red Soul is answering here, but we do this all, Anthony will dive into your team. So, get down into the description below, make sure you're on the sleeper channel, and that type of question will be answered, because that's way more in depth than we need on the show, right?
Absolutely. But just my quick answer is try to package Najee and Connor. And see what you can get there. I think you're good with Henry, Ken Walker. You're going to have Keenan coming back. You're going to have Amon-Ra coming back now. Hopefully Sutton can do something. But, I mean, if I can move Najee, Connor, and Sutton and turn that into a wide receiver and a running back, a little more that you can trust, I think you can turn that team around. Obviously, Javonte's not coming back, but, you're going to get Dak back here soon. So hopefully you can go on a nice little run.
Next game. He'll be playing against the Lions.
There it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, we got Alexander in here. Welcome. Says, I just traded JT and Godwin for Brees and Daniel Jones in a super flex full PPR. My QB1 was Lance. Ooh, that's rough. So if I was trading JT, I would have tried to get a better quarterback. Like maybe I would have probably tried to go after Tom Brady or something like that with JT. I think you sold a little low, but I mean, if you really needed a running back as well, Godwin, I'm sure you got good value late because he was hurt. So I mean, I don't hate it. Daniel Jones has been playing decent. He's definitely a QB2, but I understand in a super flex league, quarterbacks are hard to come by. But to me, JT has the potential to score as much as a quarterback could score in a super flex league, especially if it's 4-point. And I think Godwin, we just seen him coming off a I think, 9 targets or 9 catches and 95 yards or something like that. I think he's just starting to get warmed up. So again, you had to pay up to get an actual quarterback. So again, I don't hate it. Like, just try to stay competitive, and Brees is just a nice piece. I might try to turn around, like, actually, Brees has kind of been outproducing JT anyway, so kind of you're trading Godwin for Jones.
I was about to say, yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So again, in the super flex, I don't hate it. Like, I understand the move. I don't think you got fleeced. I don't think you gave like too much. Like, I don't hate it. I would have just liked to have somebody a little more comfortable than Daniel Jones, like, maybe even like a Matt Ryan, somebody like that. Because to me,
Aaron
Daniel
Rodgers, would
Jones
you be
is
comfortable with Aaron Rodgers?
it's a little. I would at least like it for the namesake a little better, like, because if he does start to go off or have a better game, you might be able to move him. But you really don't move quarterbacks too much in a super flex league. So again, if you had to just get a quarterback, I mean, I don't hate it. So sometimes you just have to pay a little more to get that position. So
Yeah.
just keep us posted, man. Let us know how it goes. And if you have any other trades or offers, or something you feel like you need to do, again, get in that sleeper channel like Frank was just saying. Upload a picture of your roster there, and I'd love to break it down a little more.
I was saying thank you. Should be seeing you guys more. Trying to get that Lave Walker trade going for JT, which is nice.
Good luck.
And then we
Keep us
got
posted.
GT Pop 1220 here. Hey man, I'm getting Tyreek Hill for Stevenson and Gordon. I like Hill a lot and already have Godwin. Sorry, we're Godwin. I like Hill a lot and already have Swift and JT at running back. So you're getting Swift back here next week here as well. I'm getting Tyreek Hill for Stevenson. What do you think?
I like the trade, man. This is exactly what I'm talking about.
You're Stevenson should have been a waiver wire pickup just like last week.
Well, he was drafted probably 10th round. I mean, 10th round pick, 8, 9, 10 rounds, somewhere in there. You're selling him high, obviously coming off 2 good games, with Harris down. We know Harris is going to be coming back. If Harris was gone for the year, I would say, maybe you could get a little more. Again, if you're not big on Godwin, or you feel like, Brady's not quite all the way there, or that offense isn't all the way clicking, and you want that upside in Tyreek Hill, like, I don't mind the consolidation. Getting such a big upgrade on Tyreek Hill. And like you said, you already have Swift and JT, so you're not really needing Stevenson. But Hill is definitely an upgrade over Godwin, and probably an upgrade over whoever your other wide receivers are. So again, I really like this move. GT Pop 1220. I'm definitely in favor for it. I give it a B plus, A minus for sure.
Definitely a thumbs up.
Absolutely.
Warren's going.
Go ahead.
Warren's going. He's on. Peace out. Gonna call it night. Good night. Surviving just another week. So I think he was trying to go after you earlier about that whole guillotine league you guys are in. So that's awesome.
He and I are just talking mess all the time, back and forth. There's 2 other people in there from Get Right. Dustin went out week 1. Sorry, Dustin, put you on blast like that. And then our own Dim Boys went out, I think last week or the week before. So I'm the last one from Get Right standing. And my team's looking good over there. I mean, I got Hurts, I got Diggs, I got CMC. I mean, I'm doing the thing over there. So it's gonna be hard to get rid of me over there, but definitely fun experience. If you guys haven't played a guillotine league, definitely go check it out. It's a lot of fun. All right. Where else are we in here?
This is interesting.
A non-fantasy question? All right. I'm always for that.
Well, somewhat.
And a brain teaser. If you were Carolina, what trade package are you looking for to get CMC? Again, I'm not big on the money and dollars inside of like these things.
I think he's going for picks.
From what I've heard, they want multiple first. The problem with that is we're kind of talking this in our chat earlier today. Shout out to KJ Flint. Shout out to Tycoon. We're kind of just saying, like, they want too much for what he is. I mean, you're taking on all that salary. They want picks. Those picks, they can't give multiple firsts because, like, CMC's not going to be around playing at that level, like, for that many firsts. Yeah. So you can't really mortgage all of your future on that, on just one player, to me, unless it is like a quarterback, type player, not a running back who's coming off a ton of
2 years injured.
That's what I mean. So you really think about it, like, it's kind of tough. So the market has to, kind of shake out a little bit. I personally don't think he or DJ Moore get moved. I think it's just a lot of fodder, unless one side, gives. I mean, we've seen it happen. We've seen Hollywood go to the Cardinals and what they were willing to give up for AJ. Same thing with AJ Brown. With them trading the picks and trading AJ Brown to the Eagles and what the Eagles were willing to do. So we're seeing more player movement as far as that type of thing goes nowadays, more so than before. But honestly, I think they're still both on the team at the end of the year, just in my opinion, as of right now.
Right.
So yeah.
All right. So I like this one. Alexander, who would Connor and CD for Jacobs and Carr? What do you think? What do you grade that trade?
I mean, my feelings on Jacobs. I mean, if you need a running back and a quarterback, I don't hate it. I mean, the fact that he moved off Connor is good. I don't know about moving off CD, especially with Dak coming back now.
Dak coming back, yeah.
You probably drafted
and he's been
CD
doing
as your wide receiver
serviceable
one.
work. Yeah, he's been doing serviceable still.
Yeah, he's still been getting you by all right. It hasn't been great. But for
better
me,
days to come for CD for sure.
Yeah, it is kind of tough. So, it is what it is. And we got Martin in here. And again, Martin's from the Dynasty Pylon, IDP Dynasty. Make sure you guys go check out his content as well. There's his link to his channel. Go check him out. Big friends of the show. And we're actually going to be collaborating next Sunday, this Sunday morning. The Dynasty Pylon will meet with Get Right Fantasy Network. And we're going to do your Start Sit morning show combined. So it should be a lot of fun. We're going to stream on both channels. So we're definitely looking forward to that. We got that all going in the works.
So you hear this? Read this?
I'll be doing a bit tomorrow about the Guillotine League before I do the IDP waiver. So I'll be taking the crap and breaking down the rest of the teams that are left. So there you go. That's what's up. And then he said good night. Oops.
Yeah.
Good night. There you go. And what is this, Chad? If you guys haven't hit the like video, do set and sub. See, there you go. So again, big friend of the show. Hit that sub button for us, and we'll get to it. So let's finish off our waivers here. Again, we got to talk to a lot of. Keep the questions coming, man. We'll be with you guys here for a little bit longer. We didn't want to be here all night. I think we did pretty good so far.
We're getting there.
We're not too bad.
Doing pretty good.
Yeah, we're actually kind of on track there. So we
kind of went over your winners.
We went over winners. Kind of went into losers. Let's just talk more like waiver ads now. I mean, we're kind of into the show now. So we did talk about, Heineke, 23% owned, 0% Yahoo. Mitch Trubisky, obviously the Kenny Pickett injury was a big deal. He's in concussion protocol. It seems now people getting concussion on Sunday, they're not playing that next game, with everything going on. So I would say, expect to be without, Pickett this week, which means Trubisky should get the start. He's only 46% owned on Sleeper, 2% owned on Yahoo. Again, with all the quarterbacks on a bye. You got Hurts, Allen, Cousins, Stafford. These are all starting guys. Maybe not Stafford so much, but those are all guys that you might need to be looking for a replacement for, especially in a super flex league, to be able to grab a quarterback off the wire right now. Probably going to cost you a little bit of FAAB. So be prepared to spend a little bit. I know I will. Because it's coming into week 7 for me, and I have a lot of Hurts and Cousins actual teams together, so that's going to be a little tough. So I'm definitely looking for someone like a Heineke I can throw in there, and then just throw a position player in my super flex, so get by for a week. But
so run over the running backs here. So you got Kenyan Drake that we mentioned earlier with Dobbins getting injured, and he stepped up to the plate, and he was early waiver ad when we first mentioned that he got signed over there, but he didn't do anything, so he finally had a game over there. 49% owned on Sleeper, 4% on Yahoo. Another guy you should definitely be looking at. I think this is Drake, Brian Robinson still, but I think he's only in Sleeper. It's impossible to get. He's already 96% owned, but in Yahoo, it's still 65% owned. You have an opportunity from doing something with him if you can get him. You'd be lucky to have him. I think we talked about Latavius Murray because he was getting all these touches here over Gordon. But we'll see what happens next week. Hopefully, Gordon is not got the neck and rib injuries and he's able to go. And then but who knows? Maybe they'll start handcuffing. Give him more work to Murray because he looked pretty good tonight. 18% on Sleeper, 14% on Yahoo. And Caleb Huntley, right? I've seen a bunch of that guy this weekend. I was just, every second it was Caleb Huntley. And I was like, whoa, who is this guy, right? 64%
Split the backfield without Gier hurt my heart. Go ahead.
Yes,
Sorry.
yes, exactly. That's thank you for bringing him up because I was like, oh, I thought it was going to be the Al Joe show going forward, but apparently not because Huntley was getting plenty of work. Only 7% owned on Yahoo. How do you feel about that? Like in your Algieri guy here before I mention these last two guys here.
Terrible. My best ball teams are hurting. He was my most exposed drafted guy. I was hoping he'd get the run, especially with Cordell out. I was hoping he would do so well. I mean, I knew these two matchups were going to be tough, last week and then this week against the Niners, but I didn't think he'd be totally splitting like that. So I want to see him do better. His schedule kind of eases up a little bit here. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully, he could break a couple runs and earn himself, some more carries. But at least it's a split for now. I don't think you could start him yet, but he's definitely still worth a stash.
Yeah. Another couple guys that are mentionables. Keontae Ingram in Arizona. Because basically everybody in Arizona is hurt. We were
Yep.
just mentioning Connor over here.
Benjamin was we didn't get to talk about the losers, but he was my big loser.
Yeah, he was a big pickup, but then he got hurt and all that. It just didn't work. Didn't go well. Basically, shot himself in the foot, so to speak. I spun 0% owned on Keontae Ingram there over at Arizona. And they, also because they play Thursday, these guys ain't going to have an opportunity to be able to come back from their injuries if they can. And this guy's probably going to get some touches. He's a rookie. Look out for him. And last but not least, we're bringing up Rashad White, with running back with Tampa Bay. He's getting more looks and he's a good handcuff over there. So, if Lenny goes down, you got this guy in the ready. Slowly but surely he's getting more touches and everything. 34% on Yahoo, 26% on ESPN. So should be widely available for you guys to go grab if you can stash at this point for him.
All right. So not bad. Sorry, I'm just trying to take care of the stuff on the back end. I don't know if you guys saw in the chat. We kind of had those people that we don't want coming into the chat, so I had to block them real quick. A little bit of inappropriateness. So for those guys who are here, if you don't see your chat come up, I am turning on the subscriber only chat. So just make sure you are subscribed if you do want your chat read off here. Again, I try not to put that on, but when we start getting the bots coming in here, typing all that craziness, we gotta
do it.
Gotta
we
turn
gotta
that
do
on.
it just to be able to not to have to deal with nonsense.
Weed that out. So again, we apologize. We're not trying to be all high and mighty or anything, but hey, it supports us, and sometimes people just kind of forget to hit that subscribe button. So hopefully that you guys can do that for us. So again, let's get into these wide receiver ads. We'll do a couple tight ends, talk about some drops. We'll finish up with some stashes, and then we'll get out of here. So wide receivers, obviously we had Chase Claypool sighting this week. With Mitch Trubisky coming in, he was just looking for the biggest guy on the field. It seemed like plastered him with nice targets. So 96% owned on Sleeper. So again, probably not grabbing him on Sleeper, but he is 41% owned in Yahoo. So you may have an opportunity there. So again, just make sure you go check him out.
Mitch Trubisky will be starting next week. So
exactly. So again, he's coming off 7 catches, 7 targets, 96 yards, and a touchdown. So a nice bounce back kind of game for Claypool. And then
fantasy guy right there.
Exactly. Again, with all the injuries and everything happening in Arizona, just remember we mentioned it earlier. D-Hop is coming back. 99% owned on Sleeper, 87% owned on Yahoo. So probably not getting him, but for those 87% on Yahoo, maybe there's a league or two where he's hanging out over there. Probably like 10-person leagues or short benches or something.
Leagues or 8-man leagues.
No IRs. Yeah, so they're probably not holding on, but just in case, keep an eye on him, especially with Brown, going back. He should easily see 10 plus targets a game. But on that same note, keep an eye out for Greg Dortch again. Again, we all thought he would be, we thought he'd be going back to the bench. But now with Brown out, he's only 51% owned on Sleeper, 5% owned on Yahoo. So he may be relevant again, especially through these bye weeks here.
What you really want is Droppy Anderson over there, right?
Yeah, and then there's also Robbie Anderson there, 18% owned on Sleeper, 13% owned on Yahoo. I don't know if I'm touching him per se, but if you're really in a situation where you need to start a wide receiver this week and not trying to pull off a crazy trade or anything like that, just kind of need to get by for the week, You can throw him in there. He should be the deep target, deep threat there, someone to try to take the top off of the offense. And then, George and Hopkins will work underneath. And then hopefully Hopkins is that, red zone threat that they need. Another guy that had a decent game, a little kind of coming out party, Wandell Robinson, all 5'8" of him. I think, no, he's like 5'10" for real, like a really tiny guy. But he is 88% owned on Sleeper, but only 8% owned on Yahoo. So check him out. I believe he had like 3 catches for 37 and a touchdown, if I remember correctly, somewhere around there. Again, just the whole New York offensive wide receiving core is hurt on IR, basically. So they're waiting for somebody to come off of this. Maybe even keep your eye on Kadarius Toney if his hamstrings ever get reattached to his thighs again. Maybe he could start running routes or doing something there. I mean, they need somebody.
I'm still hoping for that. I got that guy in IR, but
right? Like they might call you and I
Right?
to go play wide
I'll throw the
receiver
pads
for
on
the
again.
Giants here pretty soon, man. So it's just getting that bad over there. But they're still winning, man. They're 5-1. This is crazy. So anyway, keep an eye on him. It could be a
They're
big
winning
game.
because of Saquon Barkley. They don't
Yeah.
need to throw the ball. They got that guy.
Just throw the ball to him if they are. Another sneaky
It's
little
amazing.
guy.
He used to be a hurtable or a breakable, man. Now he's finally healthy, finally running good, doing what we hoped he had done, wished he had done, like when he first got in the league, right?
Right. So yeah, another guy that might be a sneaky little play out there that's kind of quietly been having some good games here and there. Might be able to help you out through the bye weeks. Has Baltimore coming up next. We know their secondary isn't that great. Coming off 4 catches, 74 yards is Donovan Peoples-Jones. And then just remember, in week 13, they get Watson back. So maybe that's even a little more upgrade there. Again, we'll see how rusty he is. By that time, they haven't really been playing that bad. So again, Peoples-Jones, I know we had to start him this week, and Mike and I were okay on our co-managed team doing that. We barely snuck out a win in that league. So good looking out there. Another wide receiver we have just on the radar is Ben Skronik, however you say his name. 47% owned on Sleeper, 2% only owned on Yahoo. We did have an emergence of, Allen Robinson actually coming to play a little bit this week, of course, with his 63 yards and 5 catches on 6 targets. But Skronik over here is still, under the radar, still, kind of producing, getting some targets. 5 catches on 5 targets for 40 yards. And I mean, he's been seeing, 5 catches this week, 6 catches last week. 2 for 2 and 4. And has kind of been seeing an average about 4 or 5 targets each game. So again, he's nothing to kind of write home about. But coming off 10 points against Dallas, 16 points against here in Carolina. They do have a bye week this week, so you don't need to go run and grab him, spend a lot of FAAB on him. You can maybe pick him up, next week or try to beat the waiver wire. But they do have San Francisco coming up again. He only had 2 catches for 33 yards against San Francisco in week 4 when they met. But again, he could just kind of be a piece. I mean, Stafford looks for him. And
At least be your bye week guy.
Yeah. So again, he's out there, he's available. It can help you kind of get by and just give you a little bit of floor, as you're getting through the bye week. So we talked about Alex Pierce as well. He could be a guy to kind of keep an eye on. And that's kind of who I have for wide receivers that you could be looking at here. You want to get into a couple tight ends?
Well, the tight ends we were talking about were already Robert Tonyan getting 10 for 12 and the 90 yards. No tutty yet, but that'll come with, they're over there with Green Bay and Aaron Rodgers. So it'll get straightened out. I mean, obviously he's been the tight end type of guy anyways, a quarterback, I feel. And
48% owned on Sleeper.
Yeah. And
So
so
he's
he's
out
one definitely out there. So definitely go get him. And not so much Mike Gesicki, but again, I guess till Tua comes back and he could be riding Mike Gesicki because these guys don't think he's going to be anything once Tua gets at the helm. I think that maybe they'll fix that a little bit. But 69 yards, 2 touchdowns this last game, only 24% on Yahoo and 41% on ESPN. So they should be widely available. Also, especially if you need somebody on these bye weeks, maybe you could throw them in this next week and stream them.
Mm-hmm. Taysom Hill still only 78% owned out there as well.
Still,
yeah, so he's available on even Sleeper, so it's probably, I'm sure, less on Yahoo. Also, just an honorable mention, you had Irv Smith show up for 4 catches, but only 4 yards, but did score the touchdown this
Touchdown.
week. So
Ooh,
just a
thank you.
really
Saved the
weird,
game.
yeah, like a really weird stat line
I have
there.
that
But
guy. I was like, "Ooh."
yeah. But again, yeah, I mean, he's beating out some other guys. Just at least having those 4 catches. But hopefully, I mean, that was definitely a down game. He's usually in that 30 to 40 yard range, on those 3 or 4 targets is kind of what he's been averaging. So it's a little floor. When he scores a touchdown, he'll give you double digits. If not, he's in that 5 to 7 point range in a PPR. Again, it's not great, but again, he is part of an offense that could have a chance to put him in an end zone. And we had a little sighting tonight from our last guy, Greg Dulcich. So he's the rookie,
Dulcich,
very
yeah.
athletic guy on the Denver Broncos. I know his roster percentage. I didn't even bring it up here, but I doubt he's out there.
It's 0. It's probably little to nothing
yeah.
anywhere.
Yeah, that 39-yard touchdown for Russell Wilson. So we know we can't expect that every day. But again, he's out there, an available tight end that you can maybe throw in again if you're in a pinch or need to do it. So again, this is why I hate the tight end position. This is why I draft Kelsey or Andrews in the first or second round. So I don't have to worry about this all year. I only have to worry about who to stream for 1 week. So, and in both of those teams that I did get to draft those guys early, I'm sitting in first place. I don't think that's a coincidence. Just saying.
Just saying. Like,
Just
you
saying.
need a good tight end. Is that what you're saying?
Little subtle flex. That's all.
Yeah.
I had to put a little flex on it.
But hey, Rob's here. What's up, Rob?
What's up, Rob?
Matt Ryan or Bailey Zappa.
Zappy
for Kirk Cousins. Zappy for Shamer for Kirk Cousins in Week 7 PPR.
Matt Ryan for me, man.
Yeah, he's more proven commodity. Go with what you know.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't hate Zappy if you really need to for one more week, but we all know that's a running offense there with Belichick. Again, Matt Ryan's had 2 kind of disappointing games. 1.8 against Jacksonville and 6.14 against Denver. But other than that, he's put up 17, 19, 21, and now 33.
This is hilarious, dude.
Gets Tennessee next week, so hey, is what it is. How tall are y'all? To be honest, you look shorter than 5'10". Don't hate on the short king, Wandell Robinson. Hey, Red Solo Cup, my guy. I'm 6'3", dude. I'm 6'3", so I got. I mean, I'm taller than a lot of the guys.
I'm 5'9", so he's got me beat at 5'10", but it's still hilarious. It just don't crack me up.
Frank's a little short. If you guys see the thumbnail, you'll see me and Frank on there.
Yeah,
kind of shows our height difference a little bit.
I'm
a pretty tall guy. I'm pretty big guy too. I'm pushing like 270 right now too. It's kind of sad at 6'3", but I'm working on it. But yeah, I'm definitely I'm like I could eat Wandell Robinson, man. That dude's like the size of my leg. I'm just saying. The camera takes off a couple pounds here from the waist up. I look okay. So or from the neck up, I'm okay. Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of funny.
Let's move on here. And Christian Vargas, what do you guys think about Aaron Jones? Do I sell or hold him as rest of the season?
It's tough, man. I try to sell him if you can. It'd be tough, like who you can get. Like if I could get like a Ken Walker and like Olave kind of package, like Heather was talking about, earlier.
Nice.
I wouldn't mind something like that. If you could trade Aaron Jones for like Michael Pittman and like Brian Robinson, I'd probably take a package like that. That's what I'd be looking to get if I was going to sell off Aaron Jones. You need to find someone who's willing to buy Aaron Jones right now. I doubt they're willing to give a lot. They'd have to really think they're going to have a big, outcome. So your best bet is probably just to maybe wait until he has a good game. Because again, we're not that far removed off of Aaron Jones having a 3-touchdown game a couple weeks ago, where he was the RB1 or RB2 overall. So he has that potential. We just need to see these wide receivers, take a step. So we can make it happen. But yeah, week 2, 15 carries, 132 yards and a touchdown, 3 catches for 38 yards and a touchdown. They just need to get back to that.
Yeah.
I don't know why they're not. So
that's a winning formula right there for them. Whatever.
And again, 2 weeks ago, even against the New England defense, 16 carries, 110 yards, just didn't get in the end zone. Still getting worked in the passing game. He's seen 3-4 targets a game. I'd like that to get up, up to 5 or 7 targets. He could be up there with, the Ecklers and the CMCs. Like that's where we expected Aaron Jones to be. For example, I traded off.
Sutton. That. You got drafted that high. That's for sure.
Exactly. I mean, I traded off Aaron Jones and Cortland Sutton for CMC because the guy I sold him to thought Aaron Jones was going to be getting that kind of workload. I mean, I did too, which is why I was willing to pay that for CMC. But you guys know I'm a CMC fan. He's a wide receiver 1, RB1 and 1. So I'll take that. So, I mean, trade kind of looks good now, actually, on the other side of it.
That just
I was
reminded
worried
me
about it.
since you mentioned that. I don't know why, but Eckler got into a special class of guys here, getting 25 touchdowns running and 25 touchdowns catching.
Receiving. Yeah.
Yeah,
Not
I
bad.
remember seeing that stat come up on the thing earlier. But we got Who Duns podcast. This is a good trade. I get Hunt for Dak.
Kareem Hunt for Dak Prescott in a 1
Yeah.
QB league? I mean, you better be sitting on like Geno or somebody like that. But I wouldn't go out. I mean, that's selling really high for Hunt. Hunt's coming out like Hunt was one of my losers this week. We didn't really get into the losers.
Yeah, but he's
I mean,
not
I
doing
think he
that
only
great.
had like 3 carries for 7, something like that. What was Hunt's
Yeah.
stat? I mean,
No.
it was brutal.
It's dismal. Yeah, it's dismal. I have him too, but he rides the pine. Unless something changes over there in Cleveland, he's going to be riding the pine.
Yeah, and they were playing like catch up in this game too, and you would think he
carry the
would
ball
be on
4
the
times
field.
for 12 yards.
Yeah, and only 1 target, no catches. I mean, that's just an abnormal stat line with Hunt. Remember, there was rumors about him requesting a trade in the beginning of the year. You know, who knows? Maybe they're kind of keeping him fresh so that he doesn't get hurt, so they actually can trade him off. You know, you never know about these things. Again, when we start hearing all these trade rumors, like I was actually surprised to see McCaffrey get the type of work that he did. But maybe
He did
he
say
could
I
have
have,
been. See, how do I know this stuff, man? This is why we have a podcast. See, he knows. But this is like to me, he could be on the verge of getting traded. So I could see how you might want to do it. Like, because if he gets traded somewhere, again, depends on where he goes. Like, let's say he goes to like Baltimore or something like that. Like, they might be
I can't wait to get
they
to
might be
another
able
one
to
here.
use him or something like that.
Right, wrap it
So
up
again,
because we're
that's
going to
just
do
me.
another one.
Go ahead.
Because I
Yeah,
want to
we're
get
almost
to another
done.
one coming up here. Yeah, where was I? So should I drop Isaiah McKenzie for someone like
Yes.
Jamison Williams? Yes,
The first one.
Or Robbie Anderson?
No.
He's not a starter for me, and I'm looking for someone who could blow up. Definitely Jamison Williams. But very
sure.
much pushing Jamison Williams. Get that guy. Robbie's looking like a good ad. Maybe he's looking like that, but he hasn't been playing like such. But I wanted to get to Heather. So I did JT for Ramondre Stevenson, Etienne, and Juju.
Oh, I thought you were getting Pittman.
Juju.
That's all
Juju.
bad.
Yeah.
That's all bad.
We like Pittman.
Pittman was the reason you were doing that.
Yeah.
Like Pittman was that shouldn't have been the thing you
should have came back and confirmed before you hit accept or whatever.
Oh,
hopefully you didn't accept.
No, she said she did it, so it happened. But yeah, I mean, if I could have swore, I think she said that was Pittman, and we were saying for Pittman, it's worth it. 16 targets, 12 catches.
So Look Up has a good question. Who are you dropping on waivers?
Man.
Pick up these guys.
That's tough. She just got so high on Stevenson and Juju. I think he got you there.
I think,
You just basically traded JT for ETN because Stevenson's not going to be relevant. And I don't know if Juju has another 100-yard, 1-touchdown game. It's kind of tough.
We'll have a couple. It's
going
to be sporadic. Not as
we'll
good
see.
as
Who knows?
Not as good as
Who knows? And who knows? Maybe Stevenson's done enough to win the job over Harris. I don't trust Bill Belichick, which is why I sold Stevenson. That's a trade I would do for sure. Ask Frank. Like I would do that 3-for-1 trade for JT.
Yeah.
All day.
Sold
That's how I make a living.
right there.
That's why I have belts sitting over here. Heather, no. Keep Pittman. You should have kept Pittman. Why'd you let him talk you out of Pittman? Don't do that.
Oh, look. I haven't said the trade yet.
Oh, don't do it. Thank God. Don't do it. Don't do it. Do not do that trade.
You're stressing us out.
Yeah, don't do
when
that.
You said
please.
So I did.
Yeah. Maybe she meant she just sent the trade offer for it. Yeah, cancel that.
Okay, well, remove the trade offer before they hit accept. Yes.
Accept. Yeah, stop watching. That's the only thing I'll tell you to stop watching us for is to go cancel that trade and then come back and we'll talk it out.
Yeah, exactly. Go fix that.
We'll talk it out.
Come right back.
I'm gonna give you direct access here. Getting that sleeper channel. Give us a screenshot of this team you're trying to trade with, and give us a screenshot of your team, and put that in there. And I promise I will help you out on that one. But don't send that trade, please.
He'll get
I mean, the Pittman wasn't that bad, but we'll get you straightened out there. So, that scared me. All right, so G_the X
over here. My running backs are Stevenson. G to the X, man. I like the G
There
to
you
the
go.
X, man.
I like it. I like it.
So it's underscore, but it
What kind of
sounded better the
picture you
way I
got
said
going
it.
on there? Is
All right.
that family friendly over there?
My running backs are Steven. Well, you lost my flow here. My running backs are Ramondre Stevenson, Jacobs, and Connor, CEH, and Mostert. My wide receivers are Amon Riceabound, Debo, D Hop, and Gabe Davis. Any suggestions on who to move? I'd move off Connor and CEH if I could.
Hold on. You can
Maybe
answer
even
that.
Mostert.
We got those crazy bots back in here again. So hold on, let me go check this out real quick.
Yeah. So while you're doing whatever you're doing
Go
over
ahead,
there,
go ahead.
so just by just looking at your team, which is a pretty decent team, by the way. Connor's been injured. Who knows what's going on with them? The team's just not working right this year. CEH is hit and miss, and I think that you can maybe move those two guys. But Mostert's doing all right. Stevenson had a decent game. Jacobs kind of coming back a little bit. So I would definitely hold on to Mostert. Seems like to be your workhorse over here. I like Amon-Ra St. Brown, and Debo is obviously killing it. You got D Hop coming back this next week. Gabe Davis has been killing it for you as well. So I again, Connor CEH is the ones I'm looking at. And then once Robbie Anderson traded Arizona, though, Hollywood's out. Yep, yes, that happened. We mentioned that.
Yeah, so I'll go back to that question. Well, I'm gonna get back to this question. All right, sorry. So I had to turn that. I guess I didn't do it last time.
Wait, you didn't like my answer?
I did it on the. I didn't even hear your answer, so I'm just gonna give my own answer. But I turned the subscriber only chat on our Wednesday chat, not this chat. So that's why the bots came back in. So now it's on subscriber mode only.
Oops.
So if you guys are chatting and you can't see your question, it's because you're not subscribed. I don't know if you guys saw in the chat, we started to get spammed by a couple of those bots. So I turned on the subscriber only chat. All you have to do is subscribe, and then you can come back in and drop your question. So with that said, G to the X said, my running backs are Stevenson, Jacobs, Connor, CEH, and Mostert. My wide receivers are Amon-Ra, Debo, D Hop, and Gabe Davis. Any suggestions who to move? I would try to move any combination of Connor, CEH, and Mostert, and try to turn that into a running back and a wide receiver if you can. I hate to have Jacobs as your RB1, basically. Stevenson's only going to be good for a couple more weeks here unless he, for whatever reason, wins out the job, and Belichick wants to give him 17 to 20 carries a game, which I don't trust Belichick for that. Maybe you do, but I would try to move those guys and see if you can trade into, better running back and wide receiver there, just to add some depth. But I mean, I think your wide receivers are fine with Amon-Ra, Debo, and Gabe, and D Hop coming back. I mean, I think you're okay there, but I'd love to turn those three running backs into a higher quality running back.
That was not even.
And another wide receiver depth person. So I don't know exactly what you said, but yeah. All right.
No, what I was saying is I like his wide receivers as well. He was stacked there. He's fine there.
At least 4 to 6 G to the X. I've also heard it could be season ending. So just keep your ear out on the floor with that.
I heard 6 weeks. 6 weeks what I got. He's saying Robbie Anderson becomes Hollywood Brown, the top 12 wide receiver right now, at least top 25 with D Hop returning.
As much as I don't like Hollywood Brown, he is head and shoulders above Robbie Anderson in my humble opinion.
Yeah, it's not even close. He's not going to be top 25. No way.
And the only reason I was fading Hollywood Brown this year is because he was attached to Kyler, not so much like when he was attached to Lamar, I was liking that. Wasn't so much liking it once he got traded to Arizona on draft night. So that's just.
I just felt the same. I just felt it was the same guy, anyways. So I still liked Hollywood Brown, and he was doing all right.
Okay, Heather's saying she's calming down. See, calm down. We'll roll those sleeves up as you can see.
Something else going on over here.
Okay,
you missed that whole section over here.
I said CD and Stevenson.
Go ahead.
And he said he would do that any other week, but Jay Jettis has a bye week. Trust me, I don't want to give this guy JT. His team is stacked, but man, I'm struggling. So yeah. So again, go in that description, very top, says join our super community. Get in there, send us a screenshot of this guy's team, send us a screenshot of your team, and I'll try to put a package together for you. We'll try to do everything we can to not give up JT for you, but if we can, we'll make sure it's worth it. Like, to me, Like for JT, you should be able to get Jay Jettis. Like that's in my opinion, I would just send him JT for Jay Jettis. Maybe if you want to add a piece onto it, but like that's the kind of boom you need in your lineup to make a run. But again, we'll see. All right. So what else we got? Solo Cup in here saying something about JT can still be a top 5 in his own line. We'll get it together. Last year, JT had a slow start as well, and then went on 11 games with the TD streak. So that's exactly what I was saying earlier. Heather saying you guys are going to laugh after hearing this team is. It's Burrow, Aaron Jones, Chubb, Jettas, Lamb, Ingram, Stevenson. His bench is Juju, Dobbins, Pittman, D. Pierce, and ETN. Like, see, I'd rather have Pierce and ETN over Stevenson. Like, give me Pierce, ETN, and Pittman for JT. Like, that's I would do that. I like that trade. In my opinion. Give me Pierce, ETN, and Pittman for JT. Straight up. Well, it's not straight up. It's 3 for 1. But that's what you need to do.
I like that. Now that we got to see the whole team, right?
Yeah. Said I wish I could. So there we are. So either way, we'll get it done. So yeah, look, even Solo Cup's invested now. Send the full team, 15 players trade for his team. Just trade the entire team. No, we're doing a 3 for 1. You can make that happen. He should be able to make that happen.
He is getting invested into it.
Yeah. We're getting it done. All right, so that's it.
Let's wrap it up at this point here.
Absolutely. So we'll roll that into the Wednesday show. Again, that's actually our buy, sell, trade show. We just want to do that because you're a new subscriber for us. You know, this is what we do, our live Q&A. We want you to get you guys interacted in the show. You know, bring us your questions. This is what it's here for. We don't want you guys just, you know, listen to us, just read off, you know, stats off a spreadsheet. You guys can go look up all the stats yourselves. You know, we want to be here to talk it out with you guys. Let us know what you're thinking, how we're getting, you know, to these decisions, you know, the things we're thinking of. Maybe it's something you didn't think of, and maybe you bring something to us that we're not thinking of. So, again, that's what we're here for. So make sure, again, you guys hit that subscribe button and hit that like button for us if you already are subscribed. Other than that, I just want to end on a couple guys that you want to stash. We kind of mentioned it already. Make sure Jamison Williams is on your bench in your IR. He's going to be coming back in the next 2 or 3 weeks. 97% owned on Sleeper. That should tell you. Don't sleep on this man. Only 32% owned in Yahoo. So you Yahoo folks, go get this man off of there. Are sleeping on him. And one name we didn't kind of mention, the guy that really went off this week, Deion Jackson, 76% owned on Sleeper, 43% owned on Yahoo. It looks like this is the guy to own as the handcuff to JT. Put up a great game. The kid runs hard. I mean, the runs he was running were good. It looked like he was running for his job. So again, if anything is going to linger, or, you know, if they feel like JT needs one more week to get healthy, they don't want to rush him back, they have a solid option, it looks like, in Deion Jackson. So make sure you get this guy on your bench. If you're a JT owner, make sure you have him, because you can plug and play him and get him in there. And to see what Deion Jackson is producing behind the same offense with these same weapons, you have to imagine once JT gets back, he's going to put up those numbers. So keep that in mind when you're putting those trade offers out there. We'll get into it again more on Wednesday. So for myself, for Frank, I'll open up to you. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about?
No, I think you covered up. Those the last guys that we threw in there at the last. Oh, yeah. We missed our promos all day today.
It's all right. TrophySmack.com. Go check them out, guys. TrophySmack.com. Make sure you get in there. UnderdogFantasy.com. Go check them out as well, too. They're your best ball platform. Bettings. Promo code Get Right on all things. If there is a promo code, just put Get Right in there. It might come to us. And again, just the biggest thing is tell your friends about us. Let us get to 600 subscribers. We're pretty close. I think we only need like 50 something more to get to 600. We're going to give away this awesome Gabe Davis jersey and a little close-up shot. That's what it looks like. Classic Mike's holding on to it. And again, check it all out. So like I said, for myself, for Frank, for Dustin, and for Classic Mike, will be back here for you guys on Wednesday. And again, shout out to Mike for getting married last Friday. Him and Mrs. Classic over there. Appreciate you for letting us borrow that guy a couple times a week.
He even got a show already in, right? Didn't he?
Yeah. So he got one on Saturday. He couldn't, he couldn't hold out. So yeah. So we'll get you guys, man. Again, we appreciate it. We're out of here, man. We try to keep it short. This is a little short for us. So again, from all of us here, Get Right.
It's a good window.
Yeah. Hopefully you guys had a good week. It was good. We'll see you guys here on Wednesday, 8 p.m. Pacific. What is that? 11 o'clock Eastern. You guys are weird time over there, but we love you all nonetheless. We'll see you guys then. Have a good night. Peace out.
Peace out.